Alrighty, this is video 35 of building Iron Man's cave. So I had a pretty bad accident yesterday. I had this whole third of the wall completely fell into itself. Everything is thrown off the cinder blocks. I mean, everything is just on the ground right now. I came home last night and it was just all apart. I had this whole piece that just fell completely this way, knocked this whole wall was like leaning against the house. So it was a pretty nuclear accident. I mean, it wasn't like cataclysmic. I would say cataclysmic would be like this completely being destroyed, which thankfully this is completely unharmed. I have kind of a flex, right in this section. So that way it doesn't put a lot of strain, if any, on this part, which, connects to this. So it's in pretty rough condition right now. I have to spend this whole morning basically now taking this whole section apart and redoing it, because now it's been thrown off the blocks. Because as you can see yesterday, I realized that this wall was kind of leaning like this a little bit, and then this wall here was leaning like this way. So I'm like, well, that's a problem. So what I did is I moved the blocks more this way. I moved these blocks more this way underneath the pallets, so the walls were more straight. And what I forgot to do, which was really stupid, I should have done this, is I should have put a stability beam going from wall to wall. That way the walls don't move. When I had one and I had it clamped in, but when I was moving these, I unclamped it and I just forgot to put it back in. So it's a pretty rough situation. I got a bunch of bent brackets now, which is unfortunate. But the good news, which I think the reason why this happened, besides, failing to to put that stability bracket in, is in the wintertime, which is very quickly approaching, I am going to have the challenge of building in the winter. So that basically means, I'm going to be dealing with snow and ice out here, and I'm going to have to, one way or another, shovel my way or snowblow my way to get to this cave. So I came up with the idea yesterday. I'm like, okay, well, what if I install a doorway somewhere in one of these wall panels? That way I can enter from here, which would actually allow me to build up and build a roof, like a semi-roof over this. And then this whole walkway here, this whole walk would be completely covered by roof. And then I would enter somewhere, probably right here would be a secondary entrance. I can't do one here because I have the ladder and I have these beams. I can't do a doorway here because I have all the freaking weight of the second floor right in these pallets. And I also can't do it here because I also have weight from the second floor. And this is where the suit's going to be. So I definitely can't do it here, even though I really would have liked to. I kind of wish I was able to, but again, I have way too much weight here. So the closest possible doorway I can make would be probably either right here or right here. And honestly, I'd probably rather have it here, just because you still kind of have the ladder, which would go kind of right into it, which I don't really want to deal with. So I'm probably going to take all this apart today, which really sucks. I worked, pretty hard on this whole section here, but it'd be a clean start because the 2x4 starts here. So all I have to do is just unbolt, and I can rebuild it. So, and I'll build it with the doorway incorporated, and that way it will look a lot nicer. And then I'll build, kind of not an overhang, but just like, I guess an overhang ceiling, going over here, and it'll actually be built into, my deck here. So, that would be pretty nice. I've actually really wanted to do that for a while. Just because when I come out here in the wintertime, I have to shovel a whole bunch of snow and ice that comes off of my roof here. And this is all a mess, and I usually can't get out of here because there's just so much snow. So if this is covered and I'm able to come out here, anytime this winter without having to worry about snow and ice, I'll actually be able to work on the suit and just everything in here a lot more. So that's kind of my new goal. And honestly, I wouldn't have really thought about that if this whole disaster hadn't happened. you know, it was a pretty bad mess to come home to last night. I was relatively upset. I mean, it's just more of an inconvenience, you know, because I have to start over again. But I will say that it gave me the idea to have the covered walkway and then entrance going into here. So I think I'm really going to do that. You know, I like the idea of it, and I think we're going to go in that direction. So anyway, so that's pretty much it. I haven't been able to really work on the fort, or the cave in the last 2 days just because I've had family up here. But yeah, you can see it's like, it looks really bad right now. Like, it looks so freaking bad. But yeah, I'm going to fix all this today. So anyway, that's it for today. This is part 35. I will see you guys in part 36. Oh, I also got a whole bunch of more pallets. So I obviously got the 18, from that brewery I was talking about, I think in the last video or two. And then I got all these yesterday, which actually is really nice because a lot of these pallets are really good and some of these are really long. You can see this is like a normal standard pallet that I have, like this size. And now I got these, which I'm probably going to be using now for the walkway ceiling, which actually works out really awesome. And then I also get even smaller pallets too. So I don't know what I'm going to use those for, but so I really think that at this point I'll have enough pallets to use, you know. I started grouping these yesterday morning, actually, by size and dimension. So the ones that are stacked are all the exact same size, dimension, brand, you know, what have you. And the ones that aren't stacked are kind of one-offs, which, I mean, I might have more twins in that trailer for these. So I also got more wood yesterday. I got a new master beam. So that third master beam I was talking about, I just picked it up yesterday. That's that 2x10. And then I got 2x8 by 16s. So that 2x10, like I mentioned now, is going to go from this main pillar right here. It's going to go right in this side. So I'm going to put another 2x4 right here, which I think I actually have. Yeah, that one right there. I'm going to put that right here and then put that master beam 2x10 starting right there. And it's going to go perfectly diagonal right between these two pieces of wood all the way to that corner. And that's going to be that. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I also got the 2x8s because I want to start building that second floor, you know, walls and ceiling. But I have to do the master beam first. So I'll probably do the master beam before all this because this is going to take me a while. And then I'll start with the hallway. So anyway, that's it for part 35. I'll see you guys in 36.